would you look at that, hey? So, this week is gone already. It's already Thursday, so I only have one time to do a little bit of projects. I made 4 more or 5 more, 3 more. I can't remember how many we ended with. We had the Heart and Courtney, so 4 more. We made 4 more of these guys. When I showed them to Courtney, and I mentioned, hey, they could probably be stocking holders as well, she insisted that I make them for us. So this is Courtney, Nebula, which is one of our cats, Adam, which is me, and then Illidan, which is our other cat. That's the one I made the cat bed for that doesn't like it. But anyway, and they got all these little stockings here. These are the old ones. Courtney's shopping for new ones since we have stocking holders now. She wants to get bigger stockings. So she's currently trying to find that. And then I found these little red tea lights when I was picking up an extension cord, so I picked those up. I think they were $1.50, so not too bad. Everything came out pretty nice. We put the glossy coating on them, and they look pretty okay. I like them a lot. So that's how that works. I haven't made the post about them yet, so we'll see if they're any popular. We're going to probably do it tonight or tomorrow. So like it's already Thursday, and so we don't really have a lot of time to do a lot this week. So what we are going to do is we're going to start making an anvil stand. So let me pack this stuff up, and then I'll talk about what entails in the anvil stand, and then we'll see if we even have the ability to do so. I'm sure we can do it. It's just angles. So, okay. All right. So I got 4 pieces of this plywood. Plywood's expensive, and I couldn't find the 5/8 stuff. They just weren't. It wasn't in stock unless I wanted to get a 4x8 board of it and have them cut it. But I couldn't be bothered, so I paid a little bit more money, and I just got the pre-cut 2 foot by 4 foot ones. For these are 1/2 inch, and so they might not be big enough, like thick enough to hold the anvil and all that kind of stuff. And they got some bow in them and that kind of stuff. But we're gonna try our best to make this work first. It's got a lot of knots in the one side. The other sides are okay, so we're gonna try to put the knots on the inside. And so what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to make a little like pyramid with the top cut off. And that's what our anvil stand is going to look like. And we're going to make this anvil stand for one of Courtney's farrier friends. It's actually her old mentor that she used to work with. And I got some reference pictures to work off of. I didn't do a good job at measuring it because we were at a little farrier event, a horseshoers event. And they all had to make a certain type of shoe to match a shoe that's already been made, that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of fun to watch. But her old mentor was there just, trying to keep up, as he says. And his anvil stand was it was made out of plywood, just like we're going to make here. It was made out of 5/8 plywood, it was all just beat and raggedy and wobbly, and the corner was missing. And I said, I could probably put one of those together. So we're going to try to put one together with this thinner material, and then I might just reinforce it on the inside. But we'll see. We'll see if I have the ability to do that. We don't want to make it too heavy, so this might actually make it a little bit better too. And my anvil's bigger, but the base of his anvil is about the same size as my anvil. So we're going to try our best to match the top to our anvil. And so we're going to basically, the one measurement I didn't get is the bottom of the anvil holder on the bigger side, because it's not perfectly square. It was kind of frustrating to know that. And so I think, just give me a second while I look at this stuff. We're going to try to do the fronts first, which it looks like the front in length is 12.5 inches. And again, I don't know the bottom, but it is angled. So we're going to try to draw a shape on here and then cut it out and then use that as a template for the next one so they're both symmetrical, and then do the same thing for the inside pieces. So 12 and a half, that's just 12, so we need this guy. So 12 and a half straight across. I could just use the factory edges on these things if they're good in any way. I know these edges aren't great, but we're going to be tapering it anyway. This factory edge is actually pretty okay. So then we don't have to worry about too many cuts. Yeah, this edge is better. So we'll do it this way. So there's a little bit of bow in here, but I'm pretty sure our glue up will solve that problem. And then, so we want it to be 12 and a half inches. See, that's where I'm about to go wrong. I'm already about to go wrong because I need it to be 12 and a half inches. Yeah. How do I do this? And this edge is terrible. So we're going to have to cut that off. So if we bring it further in, and we do here, and then 12 and a half here. All right. So now we've got this triangle pattern drawn on here. And so what we want to do is we want to cut that one out. We're going to cut it out. And then from there, we'll use that as a template to do the other one. And then we'll measure the two smaller inside pieces, which are, I think, just the same thing, just minus an inch all the way around. Because it's going to fit, these bigger pieces are going to fit up against, they're going to go over the edges of the smaller pieces. We could just make it a square and just do 4 of all the same. I just think that's kind of boring. So we might just make 2 of them a little small, or yes. Anyway, so allow me to take this, cut it, and then when we come back, hopefully we have 4 pieces we can start putting together. We're going to put a handle in it. We're going to put a top on it. We're going to put 2 tops on it, technically. And I got some extra stuff for it, and we're going to test it all out with my Anvil and all that kind of stuff. So give me a couple minutes, and we'll figure this out. So that should be all 4 pieces that we need, provided we don't break any or mess any up. So we'll put some of this stuff away. Use this guy as a weight to hold the board on the bench, which is very handy. I think we're still going to need the clamps, the ruler and stuff, because we still have to do the top of it. So we'll leave that stuff there, but throw these in. Okay, so these are our two front and rear pieces. And then, yeah, we'll grab one of these guys. So this goes like this. And these little corner clamps. It's the first time I've ever had to use them, which is cool. Get in there. Beautiful. That corner clamp works really well. We'll grab another one. And then we'll set this guy. Goes on the outside here. And this guy goes on the inside. Oh no! Wasn't thinking when I did that. Just let it go. Let's try this again. Okay. This guy goes on the inside. And this guy leans up on the outside. We'll put this clamp here. Just so we have them kitty cornered. See if everything meets up well enough. Some of them are just a little, like some of the boards are a little bowed or a little curved. But we can fix that with the glue up. So this one board is just like a millimeter higher than the other ones. Weird. Don't know how that happened. Echo. Anyway. So it's not like coming up perfectly, but I think when the glue up happens, which will happen very shortly here, we got definitely some 90-degree right angle stuff happening. So, and these clamps will help keep it 90 degrees. I think we just have to play with them a little bit because they can go in different orientations. This thing slides around in the center to, so just in case you need it to be clamped at a different kind of angle. But I don't want it to. I wish I could just stop it at 90, but these are really cheap. Just little cheap ones. That hopefully I can use to get this done. Yeah, okay. So yeah, just this board has a little bit of a warp in it, so it's coming across. It's trying to keep itself inside there. So there you go. That's the basic shape of the anvil stand. So we're gonna obviously cut and measure a top for this. And then from there, well, we'll do these pieces glued up, and then we'll have to leave them for a bit. I think I'm gonna nail them and glue them. I was gonna screw them as well, screw and glue, but I don't think I would need it. I think the glue and the nails will be just fine. We'll do the top, we'll screw the top on though, because we don't need that moving around at all. So we're gonna put a top on it with the same plywood, but then we're gonna put a layer of this rubber mat that I picked up. We're gonna cut out a piece of this rubber mat to go on top of that layer. It's not very thick, so we might do two thick or two mats. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. And then from there, we're going to take our big piece of plyboard that we have over in the corner that we've cut out some things from. It's a big L-shaped guy. It's a thick boy. I don't even know how thick this is. Yeah, 3/4 inch plywood. So it's a lot. It's a lot beefier than the rest of the stuff that's going on there. And we're going to cut out the shape of the base of our anvil. Maybe not the entire shape. We might just go a rectangle, but the rectangle that fits our anvil base in there nice and snugly, and then put that on top of the rubber mat. So then the anvil has a place to sit in there without it being jostling around on top of the rubber mat. So, and then we're going to put 2 holes in the short sides, 2 handles in the short sides, and then on the one side of this, we're gonna put something on here for some tools to go. Literally just gonna use a Forstner bit and just drill some holes in either a 2x4 or a I don't know, probably a 2x4. I don't know if we have any 2x4s left that we can use. We're going to finish up the main thing of this first. So let me get this glued up and nailed on. It's a boring thing, so there's no point in recording that. So, and we'll come back when we're ready to put the top on. It's coming along. It's coming along great. Okay, so we've got our tops cut. Now, this isn't square at all. Like this is, for some reason, this top isn't square. It's got a little bit of a wobble, but it does in some places and doesn't in others. Like it's really weird. I don't think it's the desk because I tried on the ground too. There's a bigger wobble. No wobble, right? So I'm going to try to fix the wobble at some point in time, probably while I'm sanding. I sanded the tops a bit and the bottoms a bit just to get everything a little flush. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to angle the bottoms because right now they just obviously don't fit flat on any surface because, you know. But if I put a little bit of an angle in there, they would, and maybe that would help. I'd probably use the router to do that, but I don't want to do too deep, right? So, because this is not big stuff, and routering plywood doesn't seem like it would work very well. So, I'm thinking about it. I'll probably look it up and figure out what I'm going to do from there. But for now, we're going to stick this top on. And I think we're going to use this one. I cut these 2 pieces exactly the same. So I can just take one on and put blah, 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 blah. The problem I'm thinking now is if I screw this top on, right, I'm going to glue it. And then I'm going to put a couple of nails in it, but I was thinking about adding a couple of screws. but I don't think I can, just because I want to make sure that I can screw the top in on the corners, as close to the corners as possible, without hitting other screws, right? And so, yeah, so we're gonna think about that. We're gonna just glue and nail it for now, because we were gonna do that anyway. We'll just avoid the corners. Avoid nailing the corners. And then any of this little overhang that we have here or any of that kind of stuff, we're gonna sand it flush. So, I think, I'm pretty sure that these screws will handle the top, but we don't want to do that just yet. So we're gonna just make sure everything's ready to be glued. I'm gonna try to make sure that everything is the correct direction. And we're gonna throw some glue on here. Gluing these edges posed to be kind of an issue when I was doing it, but we got there. They were just kept popping out on me and whatnot. Now I know that this is all end grain, so I have to put a lot of glue on there because it's going to soak up a lot of the glue. So we're going to just extra glue the corners a little bit. There's going to be a lot of squeeze out when we put this on, but I'm expecting it, so it's okay. I'm just going to let it sit there. Make sure that we have glue in all of the areas we want it to be thick and gluey. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we'll go nice and easy putting this guy on. We don't want it sliding around when we put the nails on. I don't know how I'm going to clamp it just yet. The nails should clamp it just fine. We're going to get glue all over us. Glue just running down the side. We're going to sand it off. It's fine. I'm assuming there's glue coming down here. I can't see. You guys might. That looks pretty good. Oh, I should probably turn it on. I'll do these two sides first to try to get the squareness done. Awesome. All right. Okay, so we'll try to get it in a place that's not too wobbly. That's way wobbly. Let's check the level. That's pretty good. This side's not as great. Leaning this way a bit, just like a tiny, like the bubble's still between the lines. So I'm still happy, but last thing you want is your anvil to be, you know, this way. So now we let this kind of chill on its own for a little bit. Maybe we'll put something heavy on it. I don't know if I have anything heavy. I can put the anvil on it, but we need the anvil. Would you look at that? Awesome. So actually, I've turned it all the way around and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember which side which. about right. And we'll put the anvil on it. Center. We're just going to eyeball the center of it, though. That's all right. We'll take our pencil, and we're just going to draw the shape of our anvil on this guy. Now again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut out the actual shape of the anvil properly, but we will either cut it off and just make it a rectangle. I'm going to mark this side right here. There's a knot in this board that should go in that corner, so I just wrote the word knot there. So yeah, I have this, which is nice. It's just the shape of the anvil. I'm pretty sure that his anvil base is very similar to mine. I don't think it's any bigger. It might be a little bit smaller. So it might be worth trying to cut this out like this. But it's going to be interesting on how I would do that. I'm not good with the jigsaw. I'm really not. So I don't know how I would do that just yet. But the only thing left right now is to get this top done. We're going to cut a piece of rubber to fit. We can do that now, actually. Because we can just fit it to the bottom of this instead of the top of that. Because I'm smart. So we'll grab our knife. Well, that one a little wobbly. There we go. I don't know what else to do with more of this rubber, but I'm sure we'll find something to do with it. Yeah. Let's just stick it over here for now. Yeah, just a tiny bit of overhang around the areas. We got this guy looking pretty good. So now, we want to make sure that we know which side it's supposed to go on, because again, it's not straight. So what I'll do is I'm going to just put a little dab. I have this little paint marker. I'm just going to put a little dab of paint there, right in the same corner that we marked for over there. So that'll work for after that sets. We'll put that on, and then we're going to cut this, hopefully right now. I still don't know. I thought about routering it, but like that's just silly. We could just drill holes all around the outside and see how it comes out. and then like put the jigsaw in. Oh, it's a bow tie. That look good? So that's our anvil base. We can test it out, I guess. Let's see. We're gonna make sure that there's wiggle room because not every base is like the same. Like it's the same dimensions, but they're built like they're just there's not. Okay, so it doesn't fit. But with some sanding, it will fit. I should have made it bigger, some widerness, some stuff. So I might play around with it. You can see like there's a gap here and a gap here, but like it's kind of tight in a lot of places too. So I don't want to have to force it in. I want it to just kind of sit in there. And so I'm going to take some sandpaper and some elbow grease because there's no way I'm going to do that with the orbital sander. The random one. I only have 2 sanders. I have the belt sander and the orbital one, so I don't have a way to do this other than just by hand. This is one piece I missed. Cool. So I still have a lot of the pencil markings, and so we're going to sand until they're all gone. We're going to just sand all the way around. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, but it does have to fit the anvil. That's the biggest thing. So I'm going to work on that for a little bit, and then we'll be back. Hopefully that's done setting for a little bit. Then we can get the rubber piece on. We can get this guy on. Then we have to figure out the tool holder. We have to put the handles in. The handles is I'm just gonna use the bigger bits there and then just use this guy to cut them out. So not a big deal there. So just give me a little bit and we'll come back and hopefully we're closer to done. Maybe I'll do a little cleanup too. I mean, I still have some cutting to do, so maybe it'll be clean by the time you come back. Who knows? All right. So we got a couple things. To talk about, and then I just got a text message that says I have to go do something. Anyway, let's just quickly talk about this. So I've sanded this guy all down 100%. Not 100%. The inside isn't sanded. I'm not doing that. It's okay. We put the handles on, which is great. They're all right. They're not perfect, but they're okay. Everything seems sturdy. I think I got the wobble out. I think the table is giving us that wobble. This guy, what a pain in my butt. It is not good. It doesn't look good. There's things I've messed up everywhere, but the anvil falls into it nice and easy. So we'll be okay there. And that's just going to sit on here. This is going to go on here. And then we're going to do this. Put that on there. And then we'll trim off that. Because everything's sanded now. So instead of just sanding the rubber down, we're just gonna trim it off when we're done. And the reason was, as I was going to put this all together and then sand it all. And then I realized I want to color this. I haven't decided whether stain or spray paint just yet. I think it's just going to be spray paint. A nice protective spray paint. And then we'll put a top coat on it and try to keep it as great as possible for the outdoorsness. But right now, we've made this guy. And it's just a 2x6 that I found over there. You can see it's a different color, obviously. Used to be an old treated one. But it was all, I don't know if it was treated, but it was definitely on a horse paddock. And so what we're going to do is this side back here is the backside of the guy, and we're going to just fasten this guy here. So how I'm going to do that though is I'm going to glue it and throw some screws into it, just because I want it to stay on, and I think the screws going through this thin plywood might be kind of an issue. So then once that's on and set, then I'm going to throw a color on it, probably a green spray paint. And then we'll leave it for the night. And then hopefully tomorrow afternoon, I have time to come into the shop to finish this up by putting the last coat on it, but we'll be able to see what it looks like. It's flat, it's straight. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm not going to take the clamps off just yet because I'd like the glue to set as good as possible. But that's how that guy goes. A couple of things that I did do, though, that I didn't talk about. Oh, I should probably actually tighten that clamp. Is I did throw a couple of screws in the top, and I got it right in the center of each ply board. Nothing split. Everything was great. So that went well. Let's see if the screws came out the bottom here. They did not. So hopefully the screws are holding really, really well. The glue should do the rest of the work. It's not a big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and deal with my horse, and then I'm going to let that set. And then when we come back, it probably will be tomorrow with hopefully a coat of paint on this guy. So we'll see, depending on how much of my time they take right now. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. All right. So we're painted for the most part. I didn't do the top because we're going to cover it anyway, and I was running out of paint. That can that I just put over there is empty, and I have just a little bit of another can. So if I need to do touch-ups, I will do it with the other can, but I don't think I will. Again, with this guy, I just didn't do the bottom as much, but I got the tops and the sides done, which is good. And dried overnight. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I don't see any major issues with it. And then we got the black mat to go on top. And then we got this guy secured inside. And we didn't get paint all the way down in the holes, and so I'm really hoping that I can get some of the clear coat in there just to protect it a little bit. The thing is, I want to protect this from as much water as possible because a lot of farriers tend to work out in the snow and the rain a lot. Feels like this still got a little bit of a wobble, but I've come to the conclusion that this isn't perfectly flat anymore, so we might have to refinish the top soon. And my floor is definitely not even. It is in some spots. So when we finish this up, I'll probably move the desk and try to find a flat spot for us to get this on. So the plan is to just stick the rubber on, and then from there we'll just screw the top on. We're just going to drill some pilot holes, get it as straight as possible, and then I'm just going to take the X-Acto knife, the knife, and I'm just going to try to trim off some of this excess rubber. Just because the least amount of water that can get in the side's the best the better. And I'm going to make this top is not going to get glued on or anything. I want it to be able to come off if he so chooses for it to come off. But as far as putting this guy on, I picked up some of this epoxy. It's really just $2 5-minute epoxy from the dollar store. And I'm just gonna throw some epoxy on the top. And then get this guy situated, and then we only have a couple of minutes to get, well, 5 minutes. It says it's 5 minutes. I don't know how much I believe that, but we will see. But we'll get the top on, we'll get it screwed down, we'll get the anvil on it, just so it's got that pressure. I should probably read how to use this. Oh, the directions are so small. We'll just do some in the middle. It's not enough of it to do the whole surface. It's not something I thought about doing anyway. So we'll just do. And that's pretty much it. So let's mix it up. We want it to come flow on the inside, not the outside. Didn't really get too close to the edges, so hopefully the squeeze out helps that. Get the edges all covered before we'll put the top on. We'll take the top. This is lining it up is going to be a little bit more difficult because the rubber's in the way. It's sticking out everywhere. I think that's pretty good right there. And we'll get some some dust down there. All right. So now this guy is more or less done. Let's get the anvil on it. And hopefully it just sits in there like we had hoped. Oh, beautiful. I don't know if the screws came through the bottom, but we'll look at that when we're done. I'm gonna put a top coat on this after. I don't know the best way to, because if I try to use this thing to cut it off the whole way, I might nick the paint job. I am going to touch up where I put the screws in though, so maybe it won't be a big deal. But yeah, I nicked up some of the sides here. So we'll let it dry. And then from there, we'll just throw another little bit of paint on it. Awesome. I think it looks pretty good. So now he can, so the holes there are not necessarily for tongs because like they're really tall. But he's got, he doesn't have a round horn on his anvil. He's got a flat top that rounds underneath, which I think bothers him, but that's his anvil. But it's for stuff like this, like his punch tools and whatnot. So they just sit in there and all that kind of stuff. I was thinking about adding something to the side, but I'm going to talk to him about it first. Just adding just a little metal piece that just juts out a little bit because he has a hard time with his tongs with the flat horn. They just spread too much, and if he's working on the anvil with like a punch or something, right? These slide off of his anvil constantly. We were watching him do that, make the shoe competition, and that kept happening to him. So I thought about making just a little thing at the bottom of the anvil holder so he could put his tongs on it, so he doesn't have to worry about putting it on the anvil all the time. I'm going to ask him about it first because I don't know if he's going to want to have something like jutting out of this thing because he picks it up, throws it in his truck, right? And I don't think he wants something, coming off of the actual stand itself. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But that's pretty damn good. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't think maybe we'll make another one for me because we got that just stump over there, and I mean it works, but it jostles around too much. This has got a wider base. We bought way too much plywood, so I could make another one fairly easily. I probably wouldn't put as much effort into it. I probably wouldn't even paint it. I'd probably just, because it stays inside the whole time, I wouldn't need to protect it as much, but we'll see if he likes it. I feel like it's not a really good test because of the cold steel. I think it works. I think it works. Now I wonder, like, if it will slide around on him on the bottom. I could put rubber strips on it because we have all that rubber matting. But hey, who knows? Who knows? But anyway, that's it. That's it for the week. Unfortunately, we only got the one project done, but it was a nice project. I enjoyed doing it. Again, we're going to just wait for this to set for 30 minutes to an hour, and then I'm going to touch up the paint, let that dry for about a couple hours. We're going out this afternoon. So then I'll come back and I'll just put the top coat on it. And this is the final form. This is it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had as much fun this week as I did. And we'll be back next week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.